Hey guys, Bryce here from Money Coach Sites, and in this video I'm going to show you how to mobile optimize your website. So if you use one of the templates, one of the first things you'll notice is that they're already going to be mobile responsive out of the box. And when you come into the back end, you'll see duplicate content. So you'll see stuff like let me help you crush your money goals right here, and then this will be let me help you, and then it'll have all these different things here like build your emergency fund to save for the future, etc. And you'll notice that this is what displays on the desktop site, and this is what displays on the mobile site. So anytime that you see duplicate content, it generally means that the top one is hidden from mobile and the bottom one is hidden from desktop. And so this video is going to just show you the general idea. If you get stuck on something and you don't know how to mobile optimize it, just reach out to me, but I want to show you some quick tips and tricks that you can use to help you out. So first of all, everything on the website can be hidden on any mode that you want it to be. So sections can be hidden, columns can be hidden, and let's get rid of that, and actual elements can be hidden. So for instance, here we have a section where these three boxes are. This section is hidden on mobile, and it's there on desktop. And then this section right here, which is basically the same thing, is hidden on desktop, but it's there on mobile. So the way that you do that is you go into the settings of whatever it is you're using. So if it's a section, you can go over here to where it says advanced, go down to responsive, and then where you have this visibility section, this is where you go in and you can change these to either show or hide. So right now this is hidden on mobile, whereas this section, if we go to the same spot, is hidden on desktop and tablet, but it's showing on mobile. So that's kind of how you put different things to show on different screen sizes. Now, aside from that, so let me just go ahead and say that is the easiest way to mobile optimize, is to create different sections of the same content. So for instance, this section here. So if I wanted this to show up differently on mobile, so right now this is how it shows up on mobile. It's got these two, it has two columns going down and stuff, just by the way that I set up the template. But if I went in here and I deleted that one right there, and I just deleted that whole column, and then I deleted that column right there, then this is still going to look good. Let me update it here. This is still going to look good on desktop, but what you'll see is that, so it looks good on desktop, but if you go to the mobile site, you'll see it do this funny spacing issue here. And the reason is because of the way that these columns are set. They're set to have 50% of the width. And so what you would need to do in this case is come in and duplicate the whole thing. The reason I recommend doing this is because it's easier to work with separate sections for mobile versus desktop, because then if you make a mistake, you still have the original section. So I usually start out, I design a desktop section, and if I need to mobile optimize it when I'm afraid to make changes that are going to affect both the desktop and the mobile, then I just create a second section, and then anything I do to this one is only going to apply to mobile. So let me go in here and go ahead and set this one to hide on mobile, and then I'm going to go in here and set this section to hide on desktop and tablet. Okay, so now that's updated. So now I won't have duplicate content showing on the front end, but remember, desktop is top, mobile is bottom. So the way I would fix this is each one of these columns is set in here. You'll see these little buttons in the layout section. One of them has desktop. There's more if you click on it. So if I click on the mobile one, the width of this is set to 50. So look at what would happen if I put 100. Then it would go all the way across. but if I want it to remain at 50, then I just keep it at 50. So each of these columns can be changed, but you'll notice that this blank spot is here because I have two separate intersections, one intersection right there and one intersection right here. So for the mobile site, what I would do is I would go over here, let's see, I'd go back to the desktop preview, and I'd come over here and I would just move all of these columns to that first section, because it doesn't matter what it looks like on desktop at this point. It only matters what it looks like on mobile. Okay, so once you put them all in the same one, you could delete this section here. And so this doesn't look that great on desktop, but if you update it and you go look on the mobile side of things, you'll see that it fixes our issue here. So that's a pretty, that one's more complex than most because this one actually involves column styling. But let's talk about, for instance, text itself. So this, let's find some text that would be on both. So this, what I do here, this is on both mobile and desktop. It's not hidden on either. The only thing that's hidden is this section and this section. So what you'll see is if you click on the edit icon of an element, if you go over to advanced, you'll see over here, anytime that you see next to the styling these buttons that has like a desktop, a tablet, and a mobile, that means that you can edit those things across the three different sizes and it will not affect the original, the other sizes. So for instance, here on the desktop version, I have some margin at the top and right, bottom, and left. But if I go to the mobile version, you'll see I have different padding and margin. I have a negative margin here at the top. So for instance, if I went over here and I went back and I put like 20 margin, then if I go back over to the desktop, it's still going to have the 50. So that's one way that you could adjust spacing across the different devices. The other thing we have here is these preview buttons. So if you wanted to go into the mobile site and see what doesn't look good, so say I wanted this text to be bigger on mobile, then I can go in here and if I go over to style and typography, then I see these buttons again, which is good because it means that it affects it only on that particular screen size. So I have mobile selected, so I could change the size if I wanted it to be bigger. And on desktop, you'll notice that the size doesn't change. So again, on mobile, it changed the size, and on desktop, the size remained the same. So that's another way that you can change things. And so anytime that you see these icons, that means it's a place where you can adjust settings to help things make sense for the specific screen size that you're on. So you play around with those sort of things. Let's see. But yeah, so like when things get complicated, for instance, this section right here, we have this image on the side that's actually a background image of a column, and let's see, actually, yeah, it's a background image of a column with a spacer in here, and it makes it look kind of pretty on desktop with this little My Story thing sticking out over here. But when you go to mobile, it wouldn't look good. Let's go and check on mobile. You'll see that it would look like this if we left it on there. So what we want to do for mobile is change it up. We want to take away that picture because it doesn't look good. It takes away the whole screen. And we want it to just be nice and simple and something like this that'll look good on the phone. And so what you do is you go over to this top section here and you duplicate it, and then you start removing things that you don't want. So I'll just go ahead and show you what it would look like. So I go here, right click, duplicate. And so this top one I would just set to show on desktop, and this bottom one I would set to show on mobile. But on mobile, I wouldn't want this other column here, so I'd just delete that column altogether. And then I'd have this nice little My Story thing here. And then I might even go into the column settings, go over to Style, Advanced, and look at all this padding I have in here. I probably wouldn't want so much padding, so I'd go in here and change that to maybe like 20. And then I would take away the margin maybe. I don't know exactly. you have to play around with it a little bit. And then I probably want this text to be centered, so I'd go over here on alignment, change it to mobile, and center that, and then I can change the sizing and so on and so forth. So that's kind of how you make changes to your website on mobile mode. And if you have any problems, like if things look squished, it usually means that it's a margin or padding issue. If things aren't sized right, or if they're sticking off the page, then you might have to go and duplicate the entire section and remove some stuff that doesn't make sense for mobile. It all depends on the situation. The templates themselves will come ready to go mobile, but this is for stuff like if you add stuff in or take stuff away, then you're going to have to know a little bit about how to maneuver things around so it's going to look good on mobile. And it's not that hard once you get the hang of it, but it does take a few minutes to actually understand what's going on, because at first it just looks kind of jumbled together, but once you can compartmentalize what's going to mobile and what's going to desktop, it'll really help you out. If you have any questions about this, feel free to post them in the Facebook group, and I'll give you guys answers as soon as I can. Thanks.